Do not date or marry a single parent if you don't have that attitude. Don't. Please break up with them. Hello. So we're actually doing a part 2 here because we did an episode where we talked about divorce. And if you missed that one, just go scroll the episodes and the one that says divorce is the one. But we talked about going through divorce, like just making that decision, and then post-divorce healing. We had some phone calls come in from 2 women who were really going through it. So if you're going through it, we're sending you all our love. It's hard. Today, we didn't have time in that one to cover the post-divorce, dealing with your ex, and then if you decide to date and you're a single parent dating, all the stuff around that. So that's what we want to talk about today. I don't even know where to start, Kat.
I mean,
let's
talk to me about your relationship with your ex.
Yeah, maybe we start with what I mentioned on the last episode about my little formula I came up with.
Do that.
Okay. So we're just diving right in here, people. We're not wasting any time. When I got divorced, I want to say this because I always want to say this. I'm not an expert. I'm not a therapist. I share my personal story and what worked for me. And I also try to encourage you all. When I got divorced, it was very tense. There was a lot of post-divorce stuff that happened, or even going through and this is always happens, right? When you're going through the divorce and it's not finalized, there's just a lot of drama.
I bet.
There's probably very few that are just it's
easy.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was so tense that it was hard to be in the same room. He would have the kids most weekends, and when he would come pick them up or I would drop them off, we couldn't even talk to each other. It was very awkward. And I remember just feeling even if we're not being mean to each other in front of the kids, even if I'm not bad-mouthing, I made a choice early on. I wasn't going to bad-mouth the dad to the kids. I think that should be common sense for everyone, please. I was they're still, and they were so little when I got divorced, but I'm as they grow, they're going to, and even as little kids, they're going to feel this tension, and I don't want that. And I just felt such bitterness and anger. And so I came up with this little formula: kids first, ego last. As a reminder that whatever decision I'm going to make, whether it's how I'm going to speak to them about their dad, whether it's the way I'm going to approach him when I'm in the same room with them, whether it's the text I'm going to send that they might never see, but am I going to create more drama? Can I speak to him in a respectful way to try and heal and make sure that eventually we can, have a relationship where the kids don't feel that tension? I'm always going to ask myself, what is best for the kids? How do I communicate this the best that will benefit my children in the long run? Kids first, ego last. I was in such a dark place and everything felt so heavy and loud that I was I don't want to forget this. So I ended up writing it down on a bunch of little pieces of paper, and I had it everywhere. I just wrote kids first, ego last. I remember I had one on my bathroom mirror. I had one, under my pillow, actually kept it for a while. I had one on in my car, a little Post-it on my steering wheel. I had one in my wallet. I literally wrote down just kids first, ego last, so that wherever I would find myself needing to, talk to him on the phone or seeing him, I would use this formula.
And did you come up with that before you even met your soon-to-be husband?
Oh, way before.
Before you even started dating?
No, yeah. This is I don't even know if the divorce is final yet. And at that point, I was never going to get married again because all men suck and all marriages suck and everything's bad. I was in such a a negative, bitter, cynical place. The chapter in my first book, Hold On But Don't Hold Still, that talks about me finally, deciding that I wanted to date and meeting my husband, is called Cynicism Interrupted, because I was just so negative. So yeah, this is way before dating. And that formula really helped. It changed the way I spoke to him, even when they were not present, because there were so many times I was angry, and sometimes I was rightfully angry, but there's a way to be angry. There's a choice you can make when you're angry. You can go off and be nasty, or you can express your anger and stand up for yourself in a respectful, classy way. And I just thought, my goal is for my children to never feel when they're older that they can't have both of us at a birthday party, that they can't have both of us, present for something. I remember an ex-boyfriend, back when I was in high school, telling me, his parents were divorced, telling me, someday when I get married, my mom said that she's not coming if my dad's there.
Oh, God.
And that really stuck with me.
Wow.
Like, this is before I was ever even married or anything. But I'm like, I would never want my kids to, and that's obviously extreme, right? But I would never want my kids to feel like, well, I can't have both of them at my birthday, or I can't, any of that. And the only way to do that is to try to build some kind of relationship. I don't want to be his best friend. Obviously I don't want to be married to him. I left the marriage, but can I build something that'll benefit the kids, or at least won't hurt them?
Right. And I think ultimately that's better for you and your mental health to do that way, instead of harboring all this hate and anger. I mean, we have a really good family friend who, harbors such hatred for his ex-wife for years. I mean, it's probably been, 10 years. Such hatred, always talking to the kids negatively about her. And it feels like, drinking poison, thinking that it's going to hurt the other person.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not hurting anybody but you.
Because him hating her, it doesn't affect her.
No. Oh, no.
She's going about her day.
She don't care.
Yeah. He's sitting there bad-mouthing her and hating her, and she's probably at a spa getting a massage.
Absolutely.
Enjoying her life.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So you're right. It benefits us and our children to just get to that point of healing. And, when I've shared this before, my Kids First Ego Last, I've had people go, okay, but my ex cheated on me. And okay, that sucks. And I feel for you. And that's awful. And I hate that he did that. I hate that for you so much. But you have no control over that. The only thing you can control now is what is best for my kids. Do my kids need to constantly feel like, I can't even mention that dad did this nice thing for me this weekend because my mom will be annoyed because she doesn't like hearing nice things about him. Like, or even I was the more strict parent and he was the more lenient one. And so a lot of times when they were little, it felt like they liked him better. And there was a part of me, I was like, they don't know that I'm the one that takes care of all the doctor's appointments and all the school stuff. Like I do everything and I don't get any credit for it. It would have been so easy for me to sit one of my kids down and be like, do you know what? When's the last time dad took you to a doctor's appointment? When's the last time dad, did homework with you? What would that do? Is that benefiting them? So I had to suck it up. Again, Kids First, Ego Last. I had to suck, even though my ego wanted to scream, I'm doing everything. I had to suck it up and go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they think he's the better, more fun, greater parent. It doesn't matter. I should not be adding any pain, hurt, confusion, anything to them. It doesn't matter. This, and also I had to be honest with myself. The only reason I want to tell my kids this is because of my ego. Is it going to benefit? In the last episode when we talked about divorce, I said how you got to ask yourself, is this information going to benefit my kid?
Okay, so what do you do if in that exact scenario that you were just talking about, he's more lenient, you have a different rule at your house? How do you explain that to them?
All I said at the time was, Dad is an adult and he is going to make his decisions on how he's going to, run his home. And that is none of my business. And I'm going to run my home the way I'm going to run my home. And you guys will not always agree. Sometimes you won't like his way. Sometimes you won't like my way. You're not always going to agree. I'm going to do what I think is best. And he's probably doing whatever he thinks is best. So it basically came down to me really having to freaking humble myself, which was really hard.
Yes.
Because I have an ego like everybody. But the result of that now is that they don't feel tension between us. In fact, and I'll get more into some other things I did. Well, let's not jump ahead. The other thing I did is after I sort of accepted this Kids First, Ego Last, and I saw some benefit to it, is I decided, okay, I'm going to invite him over for dinner. Now, this came because my kids were like, we never get to hang out with both of you together. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to invite him over for dinner. He looked at me like I was crazy and said no. And then I waited a little bit and I invited him again. And then he said no. And then I said, listen, I'm not trying to pretend. That's what he said. Something like, what are we going to pretend? We're like a happy couple. I'm not doing that. And I said, we don't have to pretend anything. What if we just have dinner together as acquaintances, whatever you want to call it, just because the kids want to would probably benefit from having us sometimes together. And I don't want them to feel tension between, feel like we can't be in the same room with them. And, let's not talk about you or me. Let's just literally talk about the kids. Hey, how was preschool? Hey, show me the latest thing you colored. Like, let's just make it all about the kids. And he said no. And I don't remember, for some reason I have the number 17 in my head. Maybe I don't remember if that was the exact number, but
it was a lot of times.
It was a lot of times. I was very stubborn to the point where he probably could have been like, I'm getting a restraining order if you ask me again. Like, you're crazy.
And you were clear. It's not like I want to get back together.
Oh, very clear. Okay. Ho, he, who, very clear. There's no way he thought that. When there was I'm telling you, there was still a lot of tension there, and not sexual tension. No, no, the opposite kind of tension. So I just kept asking, and I was very kind about it. By the way, in all this time, in the meantime, during these 17 asks, also my texts were much nicer. The way I spoke to him was much kinder, only because, again, I was using that formula, which made me communicate much better with him. Kids first, ego last. And one day, to my surprise, I think it was the 17th time, he's like, okay. I said, great. And so he came over for dinner. And I remember getting ready for that dinner and just being like, your goal is to make this so comfortable for him that he'll want to do this again. And even if he doesn't want to do dinner again, just to show the kids, like, look, it's okay. We don't have to be enemies. We don't have to, we're not.
You don't have to choose sides.
Yes. That's the main. You don't have to choose sides. You don't have to feel like, am I allowed to say this in front of one parent? Am I allowed to compliment one parent in front of the other? Like, there's so many things that kids, unfortunately, go through their head when parents are in this volatile state, right? Sometimes that even happens with parents who are married and are fighting all the time, and kids feel like they have to choose sides. He came over for dinner, and it was, and I mean this in the best way, it was the most boring, lovely dinner. And by boring, I mean like the way I like my Christmases, no drama.
Right, perfect.
Right. I always, like, when people are fantasizing about their perfect Christmas, I'm like, I want the most boring Christmas.
Right.
It was just having anybody else for dinner. I decided ahead of that, you need to completely forget everything you're mad about. You need to completely forget, even just for that 1 hour and a half that he's going to be here. Everything you're bitter about, everything he said, the text he sent, and just do this. The kids loved it. And he saw, oh, we can do this. And it's not weird. And it doesn't have to be awkward. That's the thing. Society tells us these things should be awkward. People listening to this now are going, why would you want your ex-husband over for dinner? Society told you to think that way.
Yeah.
Because that's what you saw in movies. Because that's what you heard from friends, that exes have to hate each other. They have to be bitter. They have to, let's redefine. Let's redefine what a divorce looks like. What healthy co-parenting looks. Let's redefine it, because society has brainwashed us to think the worst, and it's not healthy for children.
Right.
That's why there are so many children that are in therapy for the rest of their lives only talking about the divorce. Yes. My kids have been in therapy
and lots of other things to
never
discuss.
Bring up right? Yeah. So then we at the time we were going to this church. That's actually how we met.
Yep.
And he even eventually I started asking him, like, hey, you go to a similar church. You want to go to church with us? And he started going to church with us.
Well, what's funny about that is when I first met you, you would come to church with you, your ex-husband, your current husband, and your 2 children, and you would all sit together.
Did you think I was like a polygamist, but the other way around, where it's like the woman with multiple husbands?
For some reason, I knew you weren't. I don't know how, but
I got my 2 husbands here, one on each side.
But it was wonderful. Nobody seemed upset with everybody. Your husband and ex-husband were talking kindly together. So,
and the thing Kat's talking about right now took years. Because at that point I was already remarried.
Yes.
That took years. So I don't want anyone to think this was overnight.
No.
But yes. And in fact, on my, well, I don't even know where to go. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm all over the place because there's so much on this topic.
I know, there's so much.
Could be 3 episodes by itself.
Seriously.
I do want to say this. I'm trying to think of what order to say all this in. Okay. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. When I started dating my husband, I hate saying current husband
Yes.
because it sounds like there'll be another one. When I started dating Philip,
Yes.
the person I'm married to now and plan to be married to for the rest of my life, I told him very early on. I mean, it may have been the second date. Maybe first. I don't know. I told him very early on. Here's the thing. If I end up in a serious relationship again, especially if I end up married again, that person is going to have to be okay with my ex-husband coming over for dinner. Mm-hmm. That person is going to have to be okay with my ex-husband being invited over whenever he wants. Because after that one dinner went well and we continued dinners, I told him, you are welcome here anytime. And a lot of times from then on, when he would come to pick the kids up or drop them off after a weekend, he would, like, Matea or my son would be like, oh, I want to show you something, and he just ended up staying for hours. And sometimes I'd be like, well, I was in the middle of making dinner. Do you want to stay for that? Like, he would just hang out. And I said, I have zero interest in getting back together with my ex. Right. I am pretty darn sure that he has zero interest in getting back together. Like, there's no flirtation here. There's nothing. But I want my kids to feel like their dad is welcome in their home. Mm-hmm. And eventually, as Philip and I got serious, I said to him, listen, if you're not comfortable with that, if you're not comfortable with him being a part of our lives and always welcome in the home, like if you and I get married, that's going to be your home too. If you're not comfortable with that, I completely get it. No hard feelings. We're just not the right match. Like, I hold nothing against you. I hope we can be friends after this relationship. And I don't even, to be honest, I don't know how I would feel if I was in your position and I was dating a guy and he was like my ex. I don't know. So I'm giving you an out. But if you want to do this with me, that's the only way it's going to, like, I'm not compromising on that because my kids come first. And thankfully, my husband was like, I get it. And in fact, I'll tell a quick story and then we're kind of going to go backwards. But my husband seeing how important this was. And I think this was like, this is a whole nother thing. I waited a while to introduce him to my kids. I personally think this is important because kids get attached very quickly. Yes. And especially if there's a divorce home and depending on, some kids don't even see their dad maybe. And now there's this new man and they want a dad so bad. Like, it's just a lot. So I waited a while. And then my best friend at the time was a guy. He ended up being my dude of honor when I married Philip. And I had other guy friends. And so even when I introduced him to the kids, I introduced him as a friend. Now, this is going to sound really rigid and strict and extreme to some people. I'm not saying this is the way you have to do it. I'm saying this is what worked for me, and I'm glad I did it. My husband and I did not even hold hands or kiss. He definitely never spent the night. Nothing in front of the children. When they weren't around, we did all that, obviously. But in front of the children, because until we were engaged, maybe even married, I can't remember. I think when we were engaged, we would like hold hands. We never spent the night. Like, I was really, really extremely, again, a lot of people would be like, that's crazy. I don't regret it. I'm not saying that if you're doing it differently, it's not going to work out or your kids are something bad's going to happen. I'm just saying if it was when I look at it, it was a wise decision because I didn't know for sure. Like, we think we know for sure. I mean, it's also when people meet someone and a month later, like, he's the one. You don't know that. Right. And I didn't want them to get attached to someone until it was for sure. So anyway, pretty soon after they met him, and again, they just think he's a friend. And I had this conversation with him about how my ex is always invited. One day he went with me to pick up the kids from my ex. And when we showed up, my ex was on the phone and he's talking to someone about how, I got to get this dishwasher moved and I don't have a truck. I got to find someone with a truck, and just going on about this. And he kind of sounded stressed out about it. And so Philip, my husband, at the time boyfriend, said to him, "Oh, wait, I overheard you on the phone. You need someone with a truck. I know someone with a truck. I can help you out. When is it? Saturday?" And he was like, my ex was like, "Oh, yeah, you know someone with a truck? Great. Yeah, Saturday." And so he's like, "Great." We start walking away towards the car, and I see Philip on his phone frantically, like typing, like sending texts. And I'm like, "What's going on?" He goes, "I don't know anyone with a truck." I'm texting everybody I know to find out if they have a truck or if they know someone with a truck. And I was like, "What? What? And he said, I want your ex to know I'm not his enemy."
Right.
And
wow.
and I heard the phone call and I thought, this is an opportunity.
Yes.
So my husband, by the way, if you're dating someone who has kids, I wish that my husband made videos. I really wish he was.
Because coming on.
And he's not perfect. Our marriage isn't perfect. Blah, blah, blah. I always feel like I have to add that because I hate when other people paint their whole life as perfect. Nothing's perfect.
Right.
But he's kind of nailing the whole step parent thing. Like he's really good at it. And if you haven't read my first book, he wrote part of the chapter. The chapter is actually called Kids First, Ego Last. Part of that chapter is written by him where he writes about himself as a step parent and the lessons he learned and what it means to him. And he's got really great analogy in there and great tips. And just please read it. If you don't want to buy the book, get it at a library, but read that chapter if you are either a single parent dating or if you're dating a single parent. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he found someone with a dishwasher.
Yeah.
A dishwasher. Sorry. He found someone with a truck and he helped my ex move the dishwasher. And that it was just his one little way of going, I don't hate you. Because probably my ex is also thinking, what did she tell him about me?
Right.
There's so many things that are going on. It's a complicated situation. But then after we got married, and I'll go back and tell the story about I literally am jumping around.
That's okay.
I know.
It's all right. Just tell the next story. What came to your mind?
We'll go back.
Tell it.
What came to mind is the whole idea of, kids first, ego last.
Yes.
After we got married and my ex would come over for dinner and he was always there for every birthday because I'm the one that threw the birthday parties, all the birthday parties. You know what? I'm going to write something down because I'm going to forget to say it later.
I wrote that down.
Oh, funny. We both wrote that in the same thing. Are people listening to the podcast going, they are all over the place. What are they drinking? I'm drinking water.
Water.
If you've gone through this, there's just so many layers and so many things.
And
there's so many things I want to share.
Mm-hmm.
So after my husband and I were married and we've already gotten into this groove, like he's used to my ex coming over for dinner sometimes. He's used to him at birthday parties, all that. I don't remember how old my daughter was. She's probably like a preteen, maybe, I don't know, 12, 13. I don't remember. And my daughter said, "Mom, I really don't like the only thing that bothers me about the whole divorce thing." Because at that point, parents are hanging out together and, she's not feeling stuck in the middle, having to choose. So the only thing that is hard is Christmas because every year one of you has this Christmas Eve, the other one has a Christmas Day. And then it's we have to pack everything up and go do it all over again. And she said, "I just wish we could all do it together." So I called my ex-husband and I said, "Hey, is there any chance you'd want to spend Christmas together?" And he was like, "Well, I usually go to my parents and I take the kids to parents." And I said, "I get it. Do you want to, we can even do it a different day, but I would just love to do Christmas together." Mm-hmm. And I think he didn't say yes at first, but then he did. Mm-hmm. And since then, every Christmas Eve, he comes over. We have dinner together. He sleeps over.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the guest room.
He's in the guest room. Thank you for clarifying that.
I don't want there to be any confusion.
Yeah, okay? People are like, this is getting kinky. This is getting crazy. In the guest room. And then we all have Christmas morning together. And again, my older two kids are in their 20s now. So this has been years of doing this. And he has
a stocking.
Eventually I got him a stocking because I was like, this is weird. He's here every Christmas Eve and he's part of the family because he's the father of my children. So he has a stocking that my husband and I fill. Yeah. I mean, Santa does if kids are listening.
Honey. Yeah.
But and again, this is all the credit goes to my husband for this because after my daughter said that, I had to go to my husband. And I was like, okay, I know he sometimes comes over for dinner and stuff, but how are you feeling about him sleeping over?
In the guest room.
In the guest room. And And my husband literally looked at me and he was like, it's weird, but also, gosh, it would be so good for the kids. Do not date or marry a single parent if you don't have that attitude. Don't. Please break up with them. Please. I'm telling you right now. If you can't do that, break up with the single parent you're dating right now because it's not fair to them. Like, I am not trying to idealize divorce or co-parenting or second marriages or step-parenting. No, there are so many things that are hard and complicated. My husband in the part he wrote in our first book wrote about how hard it was for him to like be dad during the week and do all the dad stuff and all the hard stuff. And then the minute my ex walks in the door, he has to take a step back. And how difficult that is. And how difficult it is to watch my ex, you know, say something to the kids or handle a situation when they're like arguing or having a thing where he's like, I don't think that's the best way to handle it, but I gotta shut my mouth right now. You know, there's a lot of things that were hard and, you know, complicated for my husband. So it's not all perfect, easy, and he's handling this so perfectly and easily. But what I'm trying to say is it's possible. Now, there are exceptions. My ex could have easily been like, no, never. I'm not coming to dinner. And stuck with that. No, never am I, you know, coming to do Christmas. That's not something you can control. Still control what you can. You can still control the kids first ego last in every way. There's also situations where the ex is dangerous. Obviously, that does not apply to this. That does not apply to this. So that's really important to say. There are many exceptions to this. But I would say most divorces I know, this could be possible. And it does take, I was going to say 2 people, but in my case, 3 people.
Yes.
And
could
also,
be 4 people.
I was going to say my ex has not gotten remarried, but I thought about that a lot. Like, could he start dating or marry someone who would be like, no, you're not going over there for dinner. No, we're not sleeping over for Christmas Eve, you weirdo. Yes, that could have happened. And in that situation, still the only thing I can control, the only thing my husband can control is, can we make sure that the kids never feel like they're stuck in the middle? Like they have to choose, like we hate each other and all of that. It's hard. It's still hard. I'm not going to get into details because I would want my ex president if I'm going to go into details. I don't think he wants to be president.
No.
But there is something that happened recently that a really, really cat knows pissed me off. I think I was calling you.
Yes.
I was so mad at my ex.
Yes.
I was so angry. And did I want to have a fun Christmas together? Like, you know, but again, kids first, ego last.
Right.
It was hard. But why not? Why not? Why can I suck it up? Whatever I'm annoyed about. And by the way, let's be honest. He's been angry at me. I'm sure. I'm sure he has all kinds of feelings about me. I'm sure he's, you know, has anger and is upset. And there's probably been times where he thought I made really stupid parenting decisions. And I have made stupid parenting decisions. So it goes both ways, right? So credit to him for still deciding to show up. Divorce is hard.
Yes.
Co-parenting is hard.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, the main thing, if nothing else, the one thing you can control, kids first, ego last. The thing I wrote down was, should we get into that real fast?
Let's do it.
Because I still want to do the story about Philip coming in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Gosh.
So many stories.
I know.
Well, we're still into co-parenting, so I think you should talk about.
Have you ever watched a movie where it just flip-flops back and forth so much between past and present and future, and you're like,
yeah,
that is this episode. So anybody who's got brain fog like I do is like, I can't keep up. This is too much. I'm so sorry. We should like create cliff notes or something for this.
No, it's all right.
What I was going to say is you mentioned earlier really quickly, like when he's parenting differently, right? And what do you tell the kids? So one thing I realized is because I was sort of like the more strict parent, when they would spend a weekend with him, a lot of times and it was the weekend. So bedtime was different. I don't think they had a bedtime there. And, they didn't have really chores there, and I have chores in my house. So Not saying one is right or wrong. I'm just saying we ran things differently.
Right.
And so they would come back Sunday night, and Monday was a nightmare. Monday was always a nightmare because, you know, they just spent a weekend with a completely different schedule and different rules and different boundaries. And the way he runs his home was completely different. And so Monday always just ended up being like me getting annoyed and pissy and, you know, oh my gosh, you know, you're supposed to do this. And it's just Monday. I hated Mondays.
Yeah.
And then I decided, okay, you know what? This is completely unfair to the kids. I'm thinking about me and how frustrating it is because they're not doing the stuff they know what they're supposed to do. And they're ignoring bedtime or they're, you know, or they're tired and whatever. So I was like, I'm making it all about me. This is so stupid. It's not about me. This is a really hard thing. Like going from one home and one set of rules and the way one person is running their home to a completely different environment. That's hard. So I decided that Monday was jet lag day. And you know how when you have jet lag, it's just, you can't just snap, for me at least, when I'm flying from Croatia to the US, it's a 9-hour time difference. I can't just snap out and be like, okay, great. I'm going to get up at the right time and my schedule is going to be exactly the same.
Right.
So I decided it was jet lag day. And all that meant, that didn't mean that they would like not go to school or, you know, it just meant that I was going to have so much more grace and patience. And I told myself, you're not allowed to get mad at them on Mondays. No matter what, Mondays, you're not allowed to get annoyed with them. It is jet lag day. They are recovering. They are adjusting to a new time zone.
And did you say to them, today is jet lag day? Or you just knew it yourself?
I didn't, because I knew those little suckers would take advantage of it. That's the truth. I didn't. That was really for me. Because I would have, if I was there, I'd be like, oh, it's jet lag day. I'm just going to be like, I'm not doing my chores. I'm not going to school. Yeah. I'm going to, you know, talk back because my mom is not going to get annoyed with me. I'm going to break every rule. No, they didn't know about that. I don't even know if they still know. I should probably tell them now. They're adults. They might actually find it interesting now.
Yeah.
But it was more to hold myself accountable, to have grace for them. And I think that's one thing we really sometimes forget. Especially if we're just newly divorced, we are under so much stress. Maybe we're dealing with trying to figure things out with lawyers. Maybe we're dealing with financial stress. We're grieving the end of a marriage. Maybe we have outside voices and, you know, judgments from other people. And maybe our life has completely changed and now we got to find a new place to live and we got to find a new job. Like there's so much that changes when someone goes through a divorce that sometimes we forget. These kids are going through a divorce. These kids, their world has just been turned upside down. Living in two homes is not fun. Like having two different sets of rules and it's not fun. And they're also watching a lot of their friends who aren't doing this, who are living in one home the whole time and have loving parents and are doing all these family activities together, you know, and let's have so much grace for our children and patience. And maybe when you're first going through divorce, maybe jet lag day needs to be jet lag months, you know, but that really helped me. And when I started doing that, Mondays were so much better. Again, it's not that they could get away with murder. It wasn't even about them. It was about how I approached them. Yeah.
And, Philip is a great guy. Your current husband is a great guy. So I'm sure there's a lot of current and last husband. And I know there's a lot of people who are like, well, how do I date? How do I find someone who's a good guy? I'm really lonely. Yeah. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, watch the episode we did on relationships.
After divorce?
Yeah. No, the dating. Because you said the word lonely. And one of the first things we said in that is don't date someone because you're lonely. Date because you're ready.
Yes.
Because especially with single parents, it's so easy to just be like, I'm lonely. It'd be nice to have a partner. Make sure you're ready. Like I had to do some inner healing. I wasn't at a place where I was like all great and, you know, perfectly mentally healthy. I'm still not. But I had to do some work on myself and deal with some of my own demons and things. For those of you that know my whole Wednesday night dinner story, I won't get into it now, but like that was a big life-changing thing for me. All those things happened before I met Philip. I do think that everybody struggles with allowing their insecurities to call the shots, allowing their insecurities jobs they're not qualified for. allowing their insecurities to pick their partner, to put up with certain behavior in a partner. And I think when you're a single parent, it amplifies it even more, because it's so easy when you're a single mom and you are lonely and you are, wanting somebody to help you with all the chaos and someone to share your stress with. It's so easy to meet someone who gives you attention and love, acts like they love you. And you go, oh my gosh, he loves me even though I'm divorced. He loves me even though I have children. He loves me even though I have an ex-husband who, I have stress with or whatever. He loves me even though I have financial struggles. He loves me even though I've been pregnant and so my boobs look different and my stomach looks different and I have extra skin and I have stretch marks and I'm so he loves me even though. And I've always said that if you're using even though to justify being with someone, that's your insecurities talking. Insecurities are going to say even though. They're not qualified to pick your partners. Insecurities are not a matchmaker. Well, they can be, but they're really bad one.
Bad.
Really bad one. Bad. Do not allow your insecurities to be your matchmaker. And I think it's, we tell our kids when they're teenagers and dating, don't ignore red flags. Don't ignore red flags. Listen to me. You don't have the right. You lose the right to ignore red flags when there's kids involved.
Yes. And
you lose the right to settle. I don't think anybody should settle. And by the way, when I say don't settle, that doesn't mean we're looking for perfection. Nobody's perfect.
Sure.
Everyone's got flaws. But are they flaws that can still be part of a healthy relationship? Or are they flaws that, whoa, this is not healthy for me. And if it's not healthy for me, it's definitely not healthy for my kids. You lose the right to settle once there's kids involved. It's not fair to them. One of the things that angers me the most is when I hear someone who's dating a single parent go, I mean, she's great. She's awesome. She's so great. She's got kids, so whatever, like that's not ideal, but, or anything like that. Or treating kids like baggage. Like, well, that's part of her baggage. Please, again, dump the single parent you're dating unless you are able to feel genuine love and concern and care for those kids and you would die for them. And B, like we said before, that you can be real kind to their dad or their mom because that is their parent. If you care about the kids, you have to care about the parent. That's what Philip and I talked about a lot, where he was like, regardless of how I feel about why you guys got divorced or things that happen after the divorce or any of the drama, I have to want the best for him because that's somebody, the Matei and Luca, the kids that I love so much. I love them so much. I love them like they're mine. That's their dad.
Right.
I have to want the best for him. I have to root for him. I have to want him to have joy and, be successful. Like, not only should we feel that for our ex because they're the father of our kids, the step parent needs to feel that too. And I get that that's hard because we all have jealousy and egos and all. I get that it's hard. But that's why when Philip and I were dating, I gave him the out. I said, if this is too much, I'm not going to be mad at you. Let's break up right now and I will hold nothing against you. Not everybody's cut out for this. But there are people who are. And that's important. I want to, that's why you don't have to settle because there are people who are. So I'm going to share really quickly a story so I told you guys that I took a while for me to introduce my kids to my husband. And then when I did, I introduced him as a friend and all that. Well, I don't know how many months after they met him. One night, Matea wakes me up in the middle of the night and she's projectile vomiting. And any parent has seen their kid throw up. Like this was like major, like she could have won an Olympic medal. Like it was actually impressive. Wow. And so she's crying and, projectile vomiting and that wakes up my son and now he's, crying and I wake up and I get nauseous very easily anyway. So I'm trying to clean this up. I'm so nauseous. My head is pounding like that, like where your eyeballs hurt, pounding. And I'm trying to clean up this vomit and she's still continuing to vomit and Luca's screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm just having one of those single mom moments where I'm going to lose my mind. Like I want to just run away. And I was like, why would any man sign up for this? Like Philip keeps saying, yes, I want you. And I don't care that you have kids. In fact, he never saw them as baggage. In fact, he saw them as like this amazing addition. Right. And I'm like, he's crazy. So I call him. It's like 2 or 3 a.m. I call him. I wake him. Phone call wakes him up. He's all like, oh, groggy. And I'm like, you think you want me? You think you want me? You think you want to date a single mom? You think you want to marry a single mom? Why don't you come over right now? And he was like, what? And I was like, come over right now. Come over. And I think I probably sounded like a bitch because I'm like having one of those moments. I'm tired. I was just woken up. My head hurts, right? And I didn't know if he was going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Within 20 minutes, he's at the apartment. And then the minute I saw him, I was like, oh, now he's going to be mad. Like, really? I'll never forget. He's there and I'm on all fours and I'm cleaning up this vomit. And he walks over to me. There was just something so gentle about him. There still is, you know him. Mm-hmm. He's gentle.
Yes.
And he takes that gross rag out of my hands. Listen to me. I love you, Kat. I'm not picking up your child's gross, vomity rag. Right? I'm not.
Yeah,
I love you.
That's fine. You don't have to.
But this guy did.
Yeah.
He's better than me. He picks up this rag out of my hand and he looks at me. He's like, he could tell I was a mess.
Yeah.
I want you to go lay down.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to go lay down. He proceeds to pick all that up, clean it up. At that point, the kids had met him, so they knew who he was. Mm-hmm. He, gets them set. He puts them in bed. I think he even read them a story. And then he comes over to me and he kisses my forehead. And the only thing I remember him saying is, yes, I want this. Mm-hmm. I want all three of you. Mm-hmm. And that was such like a whoo moment for me of like, he didn't get angry. He didn't get frustrated. And he didn't just come and like watch me take care of this. He got into my mess, literally and figuratively. He got into my messy life and was like, I want to be, I don't want to just help you with the mess. I want to be part of this mess. Wow. I want to be part of this. And the thing that's so adorable is years later, I was at a meeting in LA. We live like an hour away from LA. And my daughter ended up having, I think it was like food poisoning or something. And she was like 15 or 16. And I'm driving back and she had texted me like, I'm not feeling well. And I walk in the house and she's like hugging a toilet and who is right next to her holding her hair and like wiping the toilet is Philip. And it was such a moment for me. I actually took a picture of it. She didn't let me post it for obvious reasons, but I took a picture of it because I was like, how this is really who he is. Yeah. He wasn't just playing a game with me. He wasn't just trying to impress me. Like it's been all these years later. We've been married. We've been through crap together. All marriages do go through crap. And he is still the one picking up the vomit. We are out of time, but I have to share one more story. I don't care.
Share it.
This is important.
Yep.
Because I want to give my parents-in-law credit.
Yes.
The first time that my parents-in-law now live a mile away from me, but when Philip and I were dating, they lived in Florida and we were in California. Mm-hmm. And he bought me a plane ticket and he wanted me to go meet them. Right. This is like pretty soon before he proposed to me. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, on the flight there, I said, okay, at some point I want to talk to your mom. And I just want to have a talk with her because you've never dated a single mom. And I'm sure she's got a lot of questions and he was like, yeah, find some time. Once you get to know her a little bit, we're going to be there for 5 days to talk to her. Mm-hmm. Well, they pick us up from the airport. We go to dinner and at dinner, because I have no patience, I go, look, we literally just met. Okay. All we've had together is a ride from the airport to the restaurant. And in the middle of dinner, I go, Judy, I want to talk to you mom to mom. And he gives me this look of like, really? Wow, that's soon. You literally don't even know her middle name yet, but okay, Go for it. I said, Judy, I want to talk to you mom to mom. If my son came to me one day and he said, I met this girl and I'm in love with her and I want to marry her and she's divorced and she's got 2 little kids and she's got all this financial stress and all this stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I would have some concerns. In fact, maybe that wouldn't be my ideal pick. So if you have any concerns, if you have any questions, if you're worried about anything, I want you to be blunt with me and ask me. There is nothing you can bring up that will offend me. Go ahead. Like basically giving her the freedom to ask whatever. Because to me, it was important to just set that tone of like, I'm also a mom and I get it. And you love your son and you might be worried about him and just ask me anything. And she, with that same sort of like sass and passion that I talk with, she said, well, I want you to know something, Kristina. I have never seen my son this happy. From all the phone conversations we've had together, this sounds like the healthiest thing that he's ever had as far as a relationship. And I also want you to know that if he marries you, and I hope he does, those 2 kids of yours will not be my son's wife's kids. Those will be my grandchildren. I will treat them as my own blood. And let me tell you, Philip and I have been married for 17 years now. She treats my children like her own. We have had one together, and I have never felt like she favors him because that's her actual blood. So if anybody listening to this is in Judy's position, as I often say, WWJD,
Yep,
what would
definitely.
Jesus do? I mean, what would
would
Judy
Judy
do? If anybody is in her position, it would have been so easy for her to judge me, for her to have her preconceived ideas, for her to sort of have her walls up with me. She decided to just trust her son and to get to know me for who I really am. And we are so close now. Again, like I said, she lives a mile away. We are so close. So if you have a child who is dating someone who's a single parent, can you put your preconceived ideas aside? Can you put your judgment aside? And can you give that person a genuine chance?
We really should do an episode with Judy.
Yes. Judy does not like being on camera,
Well,
but
this is a podcast.
she's also done it before. She's done a video with me, so maybe she'll do it again. I think we're way over time. We love you all. This is really hard. I don't want anything I said to sound like it was easy. It's easy to do. And by the way, again, all of that stuff of getting to that point where my ex is sleeping over, that took years. That did not happen overnight.
How many years did it take?
Years. I don't know exactly because I don't remember when it started, but she was, like I said, she was a preteen or teenager. She was 1.5 when we got divorced, years. But kids first, ego last. I want you to write it down on at least 5 Post-its and put it anywhere you need it. Make it your screensaver so that when you're texting or calling him, it's the first thing you see on your screen. Kids deserve that from us. We owe it to them. And also, do not freaking settle, especially if your kids do not settle. There are still amazing people out there who will love you and who will love your children as their own and will pick up the vomit even, decades into a marriage. All right. If you need immediate support, encouragement, anything, you can check out my app, Hope and Humor Daily. It's been trained to answer questions you have immediately, trained by me for over a year. So you sort of feel like you have a friend there who can kind of give you some encouragement.
It's like texting you directly
Yeah.
in a way. It's like texting you for advice.
Giving you some encouragement and advice, which we all need. And if you want to ever call in with a question, leave a voicemail. Maybe it's on this topic. We can cover this topic again. You can leave a voicemail at 855-912-4175. Keep it as concise as you can so we can play it. We have time to play it. But we should cover this topic again. So if you can relate to any of this and you have questions, 855-912-4175. If you're enjoying this podcast, if you're getting something beneficial out of it, we would love for you to rate it, review it. If you hate the podcast, please don't rate it or review it. All right. Love you all. Bye.